Hey guys, it's me, Jeremy John with Kokanee Kid Fishing. We're tackling information come together to get you guys in the game. So I was planning on doing my weekly fishing report, but the cell service up at Odell Lake is horrific and I couldn't upload it to YouTube. So what I'm gonna do here is give you guys an Odell Lake recap. So you guys can hopefully use this information to catch you guys some fish up at Odell Lake. So the fishing at Odell Lake is difficult, I will tell you that. So most of the people up there are struggling. I did have success on the water, and what I'm going to share with you guys today will hopefully make it so you guys can also have some success while you guys are up at beautiful Odell Lake. So fishing, you need to be on the water early. In Oregon, you can fish 1 hour before sunrise, and sunrise tomorrow is at 5:33. So if it was me and I was fishing tomorrow, I would be on the lake and have my gear in the water at 4:33 a.m. And I know most of you guys are going, oh my God, that's so early. You have to take advantage of this early morning bite. The bite changes. So one day I was out there, the bite started at 5:05. The other day it was like at 4:35 and I had a bite at 4:45. But being on the lake early and having your gear in the water ready to go for that bite is extremely important. The other thing I'm going to tell you is make sure you guys are charging your gear up with a black UV light. So if you guys are using the Micey Bugs or the Twisted Hoochies, make sure those things are charged up. And I actually did really good with the fire tubes this weekend. The pink and the orange were both working fantastic. So make sure that you guys are on the water first thing in the morning, all geared up and getting through your gear. Also, speed fishing was extremely important during this period of time. That bite is going to last somewhere between an hour to an hour and a half. So getting through your gear and making sure that you're whacking and stacking during that period of time is extremely important. So this is what's happening on the water from what I can see. First thing in the morning, the fish are going to be spread out all throughout the water column. I was targeting them between 40 and 75 feet. You're not going to see these big balls of fish. You're going to see individual fish all throughout the water column, and that's where the bite is the best, especially when the fish can start to see your gear. So getting through those fish and fishing in the West Bay, I'm going to show you guys a map of the location I was fishing, but I was fishing basically where Trapper Creek was coming out into the main lake, on that bay from where the cabins are at all the way out to the main part of the lake. But right kind of in that area off that drop of 95 feet right before it goes into the main lake, that's where I was having my best luck, just basically going east to west on that map. So make sure early, make sure you're fishing in the West Bay is extremely important, and using glow. So the fire tubes were working good, the Micey Bugs were working good, the Twisted Hoochies were working good, and then on my last day there on Monday, the experimental PPE Micey Bugs and Super Micey Bugs were absolutely on fire. And that's basically a purple version of the Micey Bug and a purple version of the Super Micey Bugs. Those were absolutely destroying the fish. I'm not sure when we're going to release those. I actually might fish them for a while before anybody has them. Who knows? So we'll see. But those worked really good. I'm pretty excited about making some more and trying those out a little bit more before I actually release them to the public. So later in the day, what's happening to those schools of fish is they're starting to ball up on the bottom. And what's happening is the Mackinac are coming in on those fish. And so those fish are going in a defensive mode. They're getting in these big, huge pods, and they're not wanting to leave the pod because they're going to get eaten by a Mackinac. So I targeted one school, went through them 20 different times at all sorts of different directions, could not get them to hit. So later in the day, do not bother with these big schools. What you want to look for is scattered fish, like maybe onesies, twosies. I had a pretty good afternoon fishing from off the rock slide over basically back to Princess Creek, making sure that the sunlight was on my gear in both directions. With pink Twisted Hoochies, and I wasn't marking a lot of fish, but I was still catching a few fish. So that can be productive, but basically that early morning bite is what you guys need to look for. A couple things that we got coming up this weekend up at Odell Lake is the moon phase is going into a really good one. So July 9th and 10th, basically we have zero moonlight on the lake, which means the fish are not going to be feeding. They should be super aggressive, so this next weekend looks really, really good. I'm planning on going up on Sunday and probably staying until my wife says we need to go home, which will probably be Wednesday. But I'm really looking forward to this next weekend up there. We have a wedding that we have to go to on Saturday. Congratulations, Megan and Brandon. After that, I'm gonna go back up the lake and start fishing again. So early morning bite, make sure you charge your stuff up. The other thing that I will tell you is sand shrimp's working really good up the lake, the ProCure water soluble sand shrimp. Make sure you get that in your mix. Those fish are feeding on shrimp up at the lake, so it just makes sense that you guys are using sand shrimp up at the lake. Troll speed was somewhere between 1.2 to 1.3. The water clarity is really good up there right now. There is no algae bloom, but I would expect an algae bloom happening here shortly. So, and who knows what will happen at that point. I would expect this weekend still going to be clear. You won't have an algae bloom. So, meat quality, blood red meat. Meat looks fantastic. Fish are pooping. They're eating a lot up there. When you catch them and you see poop coming out, you know that the fish are full of feed. And the size is absolutely fantastic up there. So we're catching them in the 13.5. I did catch a couple in the 14-inch range. They're going to keep getting bigger as the season goes on, and I would expect by August they're going to be pretty big. And the next year's fish are big. I caught some next year's fish in the 11-inch range. So even the next year's fish, I was still keeping them because they're still pretty nice. So hopefully you guys take the information, get on the lake early, get geared up, make sure you're charging your gear up. Make sure you're in the West Bay. That's where the fish are at right now. Stay safe. There's a lot of boats out in that West Bay, so make sure you're watching. Some people are not watching their stuff, watching the boats up there. So make sure you guys are staying safe and not hitting anybody while you're up there. We will put a report, a weekend report here on in the next couple days, so look forward to that. And hopefully we'll see you guys out on the lake.